Welcome back to the Silver Line and Atlanta Falcons podcast. I am your host, Sterlington. This is your co-host, Cameron, and we are coming at you with a Quicksilver reaction to the Falcons. Disappointing, but not embarrassing. 24-23 loss at New England. Um, I think we got a lot to talk about this game. A lot to talk about this game. I'm proud to say I stayed pretty even keeled throughout it. But I'm glad I didn't turn the game off. How about you, Cam? How you feeling about the game?
Oh, you much better than me, big dog. There are times I was like, "Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I try to stay even killed, but as soon as I saw that score looking the way it was looking, I was like, I might need to switch to red zone real quick." I ain't gonna lie to you. I was like, I'm not about to let these boys ruin my Sunday. But
Hey,
hey,
look, on Reddit, that was one of the things I posted. I said, "Hey, don't let these boys ruin your Sunday now." I said, "Don't let them do that now. Don't give them that power." All right, we are Falcons fans. We know better. So we're not gonna sit here and if it's if they're getting drilled, man, sometimes that's just what it is. You got to cut the game off, and make sure you enjoy your time off and do that for you. But this time I decided to hang in because um they got down 21-7, and I was like, that's two scores. I don't want to change from a game where one touchdown and oh shit, we got a game now. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of why I hung in. And that's kind of what happened. The Patriots got the ball before half with no timeouts. They tried to make plays. Jalen Walker forced a fumble. James Pierce Jr. scooped it up and took it to the 5. And oh shit, before you know it, Falcons, throw a touchdown pass to Drake London. I said Drake, but I kept hearing May in my head because obviously we just played him. I was like, nah, he doesn't catch a touchdown against us, that's for sure. But yeah, yeah, Drake London with a touchdown pass, and I was like, I guess we got a little bit of a game then. We'll see what happens. I didn't want to get too excited.
okay.
Then the Patriots went on that extremely long drive after half to go up 24-14, and I was just like, now if we can just get a little quick strike touchdown, that'd be great. That didn't exactly happen, but it did happen again in the form of a turnover where we didn't get a touchdown, but we got a field goal. We got a turnover, an interception by Jesse Bates, and I'm not even gonna lie. Then when I talked about being even kill, man, there was a lot of points in this game where I just didn't react first. I was like, let me see this all the way through before I get too excited one way or the other. Like when Jesse Bates caught the interception, I said, let me make sure he got his hands under that first before I get excited about it. And then he got his hands under it. I was like, well, damn, would you look at that? And even at the end, when Drake London caught what should have been a part of the game time play, which that's why you almost can't call it a game time touchdown. I know people like to say game time touchdown. It ain't a game time anything until that extra point get kicked. So it's a game tying sequence, and so that we're going to call what should have been a game tying sequence. And even when that play, when that happened, I was like, let me see if Drake got his feet down before I celebrate. I was just like, I would love, seeing a fourth down touchdown to tie the game and get super excited and just be a regular fan. But I'm like, did he forget it? Did he get his feet in? Did he hold on to the ball? What happened then? But then I forgot who I was doubting. I was like, it was Drake London. There's no need to doubt. There's no doubt when
And I'm trying to
on the
tell you,
field.
dog, but I feel exactly how you felt. I As I was watching it, I was thinking the exact same thing. I was like, you know what? He just made that catch, but typical Falcon fashion, that could be an incomplete. We don't know yet.
We don't know.
Hey, no, we had to wait for the typical Falcon fashion, the next play.
Yeah, there
But
you go. And you
hey,
know what was so crazy? I was thinking right before he kicked it, I said, Parker, you better not fucking choke this kick. You know,
and
I'm
then
like,
hey,
man, this motherfucker
and
here.
the worst part is I wasn't even upset, bro. I kind of
I
like
wasn't
felt
either.
it. I I think we're becoming one with the force, one with the Falcon force. We can feel the choke in the air. We can feel the choke in the
Hey, you know what's
There's a
hilarious about
disturbance in the
this?
force, and I
I
felt it.
saw basically the same exact thing happen in the year that Dan Quinn got fired. What was it, 2020? Year Dan Quinn got fired. We played the Chiefs. And, the Chiefs was a buzzsaw in 2020. And we sucked ass for about, 3 years now at that
Right?
point. And we came to play. Raheem had him ready to play. It was a tight game. And then Koo had a chance to tie the game with a relatively short field goal. Oh, in their building. And also, we made the quarterback look kind of silly. We made Patrick Mahomes look silly that game. Honestly, um, I said this, and because I play, hey, this is why we got a podcast now, just so you know, just so these types of things are on the record. Because I said this, and then I feel like I wasn't the only one to notice it. Your boy Aaron Freeman on Locked On noticed it, and he said, "Yeah, we gave the Bucks the blueprint to beat the Chiefs. It was the game plan we put together." You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? Plus the Bucks played them earlier that year, so that was like, oh, we got familiarity with them, and the Falcons showed us a way to really shut that offense down. But you know, same thing with this. In that building, made the quarterback look silly. Got a kick to tie the game after some late game heroics. Kicker blows the kick. Even missed to the same side. Wide right. It's crazy how that goes. Raheem didn't end that year as the head coach either. so, so we'll see. Maybe I hope they pull that shit together. But
Hey, the similarities are uncanny. But I'll say this: as far as games go, this was as much of a silver lining game as you can get.
I kinda, yeah. At least it ain't
Like
lost.
I go back and watch the game. Like, hey, the defense made plays when plays had to be made.
They did.
Our rookies stepped up when we need our rookies to step up. On the offensive side of the ball, like at the end of the day, like if we don't make the playoffs, and if our record is not good, but if MPJ plays well, I can live with it. Because the
Kinda,
worst
yeah.
place you can be as a franchise is in QB purgatory. And if MPJ is the reason we exit QB purgatory, then that's cool with me. That's cool with me. I can live with it. And the man showed that we perhaps are like maybe exiting QB purgatory. The man had 3 TDs. And granted, Zach Robinson wasn't doing him no favors.
Not really. I mean,
Hey, he made the most. He made the most out of what was given. Hey, Drake London balled out. I can't really complain, man. He had 3 TDs. He could have played better, but he had a pretty solid game. As all things considered, man, the starting quarterback for our team played well. I can
and
live with this loss.
and against a pretty good defense, right?
Yes, they are 6-2. We lost to wait.
Yeah,
Are they
they're
7-2
7-2
now?
now.
They 7-2. That's a 7-2 team. Top of the AFC East. Drake May is a
Um,
good quarterback. What do we? They have a good team. Yes.
Another thing to point out too, because this was sorely needed. Over the Falcons last 10 quarters of play, preceding this game, we scored 23 points. And then in this game alone, we scored 23 points. We scored more points in this game than we have in the last 10 quarters. And furthermore, we held them to 3 points in the second half. So we weren't really questioning the defense, the offense for the Patriots. They had them on the ropes a little. They had them on the ropes a little in the beginning. And then they came out with that opening drive in the second half. They marched down, but then our defense bought our back, and it seemed like after that, man, the Patriots could not really consistently move the ball against us.
Oh, of course. I loved it, man. As
Yeah,
far as
yeah.
the whole game goes, as far as the whole game goes, I can't really be too upset with our defense. Our defense played well enough. We gave up 24 points and we created 2 turnovers.
I think they got what they
I
needed,
can
which was that they just need help from the offense. They need the offense
Yeah, the
to do
offense just
their
needed
part.
yeah, we need complementary football and the defense did its part. It takes two to tango. And right now the defense found its groove. The offense is still trying to get its two-step going. And
Actually,
we
oh, but
at points it looked decent today. Like we had scored 3 TDs. So it looked decent at points, but hey, on that last drive when we were like trying to uh take the lead, yeah, we had a false start. Yeah, we had trouble getting the play in. We had a couple times we had trouble getting the play in. Zach Robinson's on the field now. That we should be nipping that in the bud.
yeah,
But
we had some troubles with that.
we still
Yeah.
had trouble getting the play in. Had a couple false starts. That intentional grounding was unfortunate. But hey,
So,
man, aside from like that last drive, things look pretty. Things look pretty solid for the team, man.
I think you hit the nail on the head maybe with talking about this really is a silver lining game because I really think about it. Um I think this is probably the first game this year where a team stopped the run and our offense actually looked functional.
Yes,
Even that game against the Bucks, we scored 20 in that game. The offense didn't look functional. We got a big play from Bijan Robinson in the first quarter, and then we had to have some late game Michael Penix Jr. heroics, looking like Michael Jordan in fucking Space
right.
Jam with his arms stretched out to score the ball. That's how Michael Penix Jr. looking. And I'm like, that offense didn't look good though. Um, and
Nah, I'm with
honestly,
you.
our offense didn't look good today for stretches, but I did see things that looked like, some adjustments were being made, something that was sustainable. Um, so that's a plus. Your young quarterback looked good in clutch moments. I believe. Oh fuck, I think it was Jason. I can't remember which McCourty was calling the game, but Jason McCourty said, when your quarterback having, not necessarily the best game in the world, and the game's on the line, and you gotta be clutch in that moment. I think this was yet another game to reaffirm for you that Michael Penix Jr. is clutch. If you keep the game close and it gets tight at the end, he's probably going to be able to make the plays to get you there. He did it against Washington. He did it against, last year. He did it against Washington. He did it against Carolina. Late game heroics against the Bucks this year. More late game heroics in the game that we just watched against the Patriots. Um, that's another silver lining. Also, now maybe this was just, this was Jeff Ulbrich, doing his thing. Jeff Ulbrich has proven to be a pretty good defensive coordinator. So maybe this is just a Jeff Ulbrich thing. Um, but and this is, me just trying to be positive. Maybe, maybe it's this is the silver lining. Um, the defense seemed to play better when we got forced into playing Jalen Walker and James Pierce Jr. more. When Leonard Floyd went down, you got to play them more. Eddie Katie had a game too, so I mean, you can't just say that it's just those. But my thing is, it's nice to see your defense, step their play up in a game, because your young guys are out there more.
Oh my god, they look so much better having Jalen Walker out there in certain
Yeah.
certain coverage
Um,
settings, certain coverage situations as opposed to JD. And I'm not trying to harp on JD. Hey, I know he got picked on that last play, but you and I are in agreement that was OPI.
yeah, I felt like that was like even when I watched it live, I was like, y'all better throw that fucking flag. That's what I said. I said, y'all better throw that fucking flag, like word for word. And they didn't. And to be honest, the Patriots kind of got some good flags all game. I feel like what they only got 2 penalties called on them, maybe 3. Um, I don't know if that's in the box score. Let me see if I can pull up the box score. But Let's see. How many penalties? And I'm not gonna say just sit here and say that that's the refs helping them or anything because they're coached by Mike Vrabel. They're a well coached team. But at the same time, the Falcons are on the lower end of penalties called against them all year as well. So I'm not gonna say they well coached, but they well coached, not to necessarily commit a lot of penalties. And let's see, right here, yeah, the Patriots only had 2 penalties for 15 yards, and we had 5 for 40. Five, and these are just accepted penalties. I do recall Mike Vrabel declining a penalty. Psst. Hey Cam, you seeing this shit?
Oh yeah, I think I am. What is that?
That's a person watching this podcast that hasn't subscribed. Subscribe. The button's down below. The, on the drive we scored on, which was
You
very
did.
fortunate.
You
Yeah,
did. You did.
but you recall that. And to be fair, a lot of those penalties were in fact penalties, and some could say that on that hands to the face that on Jake Matthews also committed hands to the face. So again, not saying that, just saying that what ultimately goes down and what got called in the game. And for them to miss what I thought was a pretty obvious call. I mean, look, maybe I just need to watch it again. And maybe I'll watch it again and well, how you phrased it before we got on cam? You said that's not OPI. Maybe JD just sucks.
Oh, I said,
So
of course. I said, of course, it's OPI. Of course, it's JVD Bertrand. Of course, it don't get called. I was just like, and I was thinking
it
like
made too
maybe,
much sense, right?
and I was like maybe like the tape because like the tape was out last week, so maybe they just assumed like, oh, that was it's JD, it's JD Bertrand. That's not. Of course, we're not gonna call it. Of course, he got wide open on that play. So
Yeah,
maybe
because
if it
I'm
was Divine
like,
Diablo or somebody with a little bit more credibility, it would have got the call. But hey, it is what it is, man. This is the definition of a silver linings game.
yeah.
So all things considered, you just got to eat it. It sucks. The Panthers won, so what? They 5-4 now. We're 3-5.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's a long season, but it ain't looking good for us. We already lost to them.
Luckily, the
Um,
Colts lost.
the
So we.
Colts did lose, and not only that, they had one of those. They had a dismantling today.
Mhm.
I know it was only a 10-point loss for them, but they had the kind of loss that, as a Falcon fan, that would have concerned me because they had the kind of loss where you getting undressed, where now like they putting your dirty laundry on film, teams learning about what you do bad, and you're gonna get exploited a little bit until you fix that. And that's what happened. That's literally what happened to us the last few weeks. Teams figured out the offense. Teams figured out when we running and when we throwing, and then they just like overcommitting to making sure that Bijan doesn't get anything successful on the ground. And they say y'all can't throw the ball. If y'all show us you can throw the ball, then y'all will be able to move it. And that was an adjustment by Zach. I had to kind of compliment. He saw that he really started to use the pass to set up the run more. Um, we started just committing to throwing the ball more often, and just the threat of that, and how successful we were on some of those plays. Because at some point towards the end of the game, Michael Penix Jr. had a lot more incomplete passes, but obviously, given the situation, that's going to happen sometimes. But Michael Penix Jr. started out the game with a really high completion percentage, and then we're gonna finish this game 22 of 37. And I ain't no mathematician, but that's under 65%. I know that much.
Mhm.
The coveted 65% mark. Um,
Hey, you have to consider like game situation as well.
yeah,
Like
it
people
was
don't.
more obvious.
You got to actually watch the film, and if I go back and watch the game, yeah, there was some throws he might want back and whatnot. But hey, all in all, he looked pretty good. Like he made some plays with his feet when he had to. Those touchdown throws were like they were accurate. Like he threw it where only Drake could get it, and also Drake made some spectacular catches and stuff because Drake is that dude. But man, when I tell you, talk about a silver lining game. This might be the happiest I am after a loss.
Yeah, I pretty much agree because another thing that we didn't even point out, I want to give you mean you can't give game balls in a loss, but I do want to give notice and shout out to the O line and Dwayne Ledford because in this game we lost Matthew Bergeron and Chris Lindstrom. And
I
like
was gonna
when
say that too. Like, yeah, even in the midst of losing two starters, we were still able to make the offense
and
work.
I'm
Like, you know
like,
what? I'm like, you know what?
and no, really think about this. You're not missing two starters. You're missing three. Caleb McGarry's not out there. Like Elijah Wilkinson is not your regular starter. You know what I'm saying? You're missing three. You're playing with 60% of a missing O line in this game. You are only playing with two out of the five people you expected to be playing before the year started.
Mm-hmm.
And they were
Mm-hmm.
able to provide reasonable protection. You know, the Patriots started to blitz more in certain situations. I don't know what the fuck happened on that play. That was the intentional grounding by Michael Penix.
It's a
It
game
seemed
of
like the
inches, bro.
ball, like I
So it's
even when I
essentially,
watched it live, I could tell like that's how he caught the ball, and it was like, oh shit, he is not ready for it. And then when he threw it in the ground, I'm like, there's nothing but old lineman over there. That is an intentional grounding. Like it's a textbook intentional grounding. It's I threw the ball away because pressure was coming to me. There was nobody around. I dirted it. Um, fuck, man, that might have been worse than a sack.
yeah, and it
Um,
sucks because if he just looked the other way, Bijan was right there, and it wouldn't have been intentional grounding.
it wouldn't have been, and then it's it's 3rd and 10 instead of 3rd and 20, and who knows
We
how
can
that
maybe
that goes, right?
exactly. Who knows how the rest of the game goes? But even
Yeah.
still, though, like our
But the
defense,
reason why I'm confused is because I don't know why Penix one. I'm kind of surprised Penix was surprised the ball came out because I'm looking at the play clock and I'm like no nigga the ball gotta come out like ain't no you surprised like do you if it came out any later you're getting a penalty. Now maybe it came out at 3 seconds, and I know we tend to run the ball very close to being out on a lot of our plays. So 3 seconds, and then he getting the ball surprised. But I'm trying to just remember that he's a young quarterback, and the reason I say that is because I saw a few plays where the play action it's an empty play action. He's turning, and when he turns for the action, nobody's there. I'm like, yeah,
yeah,
somebody turned the wrong fucking way. Like either the running back fucked up and went the wrong way, or your young quarterback, confused himself on the play and missed the fake. So I mean, some of it could just be that Michael Penix Jr. young. That could be contributing to why getting the plays in it seems to be an issue. That could be contributing to situations like that where he does have I plays that I notice where he's a little too itchy to get rid of the ball sometimes, and he'll throw it away and have some of these that could be intentional grounding, but we got somebody that's kind of close enough. And I'm like, yeah, you just kind of just threw that away real quick. Um, I feel like that run he had up the middle for a first down. It was a 10+ yard run. I felt like that was the most natural he had looked running the ball since he was in Indiana. I felt like whoa. That was the
and he
only
had a burst
time
of speed on him too. I was like, ooh, he got a little giddy up to him.
I think that's the most confident he's been running the ball. I feel like that was probably the only time where he wasn't worried about possibly getting hurt. I feel like he probably is dealing with a little bit of just trying to protect himself and make sure he doesn't get hurt playing football. And that makes sense because I mean you have four consecutive one after the other seasons where you got hurt and ended your season early. So, that's just going to probably be a part of his growing pains going forward. But hopefully, he can learn to work around that because, that's going to be something that, because of how he throws the ball, he'll be able to make up for it sometimes. But there's going to be times where teams going to try to just key in on that and try to get immediate pressure to get him to get rid of the ball quickly. And then, you're going to be able to stuff the offense. But yeah, Kyle Pitts looked pretty good. Um, had some pretty good catches. So, I mean,
We gotta find a way to get Darnell Mooney
yeah,
on board, man.
yeah. That's kind of what I was getting at. I kind of wanted to just throw out Kyle Pitts because I felt like Pitts played well, but also I'm like, yo, where the fuck is Mooney and his skill set that we don't really have a ton of on his team, and why isn't that getting used? So I'm right there with you. We got to find ways to get him involved. Um, we got to start getting some of these screens out of the playbook to me, man.
I agree, dude. I agree.
Like, I'm just like, look, especially while teams keying in on Bijan, like maybe don't get the screens out of the playbook, but definitely put a little different razzle dazzle on them. Hold on a second. Okay. My groceries just got delivered, so should probably grab those, but we'll stay on a little bit. I can keep an eye on my neighbors, make sure they don't steal my shit. Um, good for opinion today. I'm gonna shout him out a little because I'm kind of hard on Bradley Pinion. It's sometimes where I feel like he has a little bit too many games where we got our back against the goal line, and then he shanked the kick, and now the other team's returning the ball from the 40 or something like that, because he had a bad kick. But he had some stellar kickoffs, and he had some stellar punts. One of the punts that got us our first points on the board was one that he kicked and it bounced and went out of bounds at the 6, and then we were able to get an immediate stop and then go down and score a touchdown. And I'm like, that's what I'm talking about, Bradley. That's how you do it. And then there was another one where he kind of flipped the field. Now the Patriots got a good return, but he flipped the field, and I was like, all right, that's how you help your offense and your defense stay in advantageous positions. Because some of these games we done had this year, man. These guys, like the special teams, just like serving up the defense or the offense on a silver platter. You know what I'm saying? So that was nice there. Um, is there let's see. I guess congrats Jesse Bates getting his first pick of the year. That
Yeah.
was pretty dope. So what we got to look forward to? Because we saw the Colts. The Colts looked real human, but also the Colts gonna be looking to do what everybody else did. We still got to prove it. I think today we showed that we can bow our backs against the run a little bit. That was to me that was extremely important. How many sacks did we have today?
I want to say we had 5.
No, we had more than 5. We had at least 6.
Shit.
At least 6. Yeah, we had 6 sacks.
Okay. Okay.
And conversely, Michael Penix Jr. was only sacked once. So yeah, we kind of did it to him a little bit in certain ways. It's just such a fucking shame to have lost his. We outscored him in the fourth quarter 9-0. Um we got 6 sacks to the one. We won the turnover differential. But that's what happens when we had the momentum at the end of the game. And
We
that's what
did,
happens
man.
when you miss the extra point. And honestly, that's the kind of miss that vindicates the NFL for always feeling like they made the right move by moving the extra point back.
Yeah, I agree. You got to hit that. You got to hit it, and uh,
Such a fucking shame.
do we go back in? Do we go back in the books and try to look for another kicker? I don't know what we do at the kicker position.
Oh, and look, Parker Romo. You know what was so crazy? I remember thinking to myself about this game. Watch Austin Hooper and Matt Collins gonna go crazy this game because they former Falcons. They was there. They caught a couple passes, but not really. But then I just can't remember them saying that Parker Romo lost the kicking competition, and I'm
Yep.
like,
Yep.
and that I think that's what made it jump in my head. I think I said, "You motherfucker, you better not miss this kick against your former team and vindicate why you lost the kicking competition." And I'm like, this the place you kicked before. This supposed to be the scene of the crime. You're supposed to be like, "Yeah, I know this stadium. I kicked here for a preseason."
Yeah, I'm gonna make them regret cutting me, and you show them why
You
they
showed them
did.
why. You know when Mike Vrabel saw that kick go left and be like, "I knew this motherfucker sucked." Then you know he said something like that in his head. You know he did. And those the breaks, man. Those the breaks. But ultimately, the title of the last part was "Don't Embarrass Us." They didn't embarrass us. Um, and they gave you reason to think that if they can build off of that, they might have found a way to get your offense consistent. Um,
Mhm.
because that's basically been an issue with the team that we can't put up any points. We can't put any pressure on the other team and make them have to throw the ball, and then they get to run the ball against us, and that's the thing our defense is weak against. But once we started putting pressure on their team and making them have to try to score to keep, to stay in front, we saw the defense look a lot more like what we had seen early in the year. So. Um, Look, I'm not gonna lose no sleep over this game at all, one way or the other. But um, I look forward to seeing where we go from here.
Same here, brother. Same here.
All right, man. Anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Hey, all things considered, decent game, brother. Hey, I ain't gonna say we there yet, but hey, I'm looking. Or at least I'm trying to see the end of the see the light at the end of the tunnel, man. Trying to see if we out of this QB purgatory.
Yep, that's step number one.
Hey, and we're right now we're trending in the right direction.
Well, QB getting Penix back made an improvement to the offense. Um, Zach showed a pulse. I don't think he showed us that he there, but he showed a pulse. He mixed some
Mm-hmm.
things up that I thought. Um, the rookies played well. O-line managed to keep Penix up, even playing with three backups out there. And that is the silver lining. So go ahead, follow us over at X. We at the AG Line of 91. That's the Twitter handle. Also, you guys already know what to do. Make sure you enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Please like, subscribe, comment, share, hit the little bell. We want to hear some real niggas uploading. Peace.